Hello everyone, it is Sterling here from Day Trading Forex Live, and welcome to the Forex Bank Trading course page. If you're on this page, you obviously, or you likely have a little bit of an understanding of what we do at Day Trading Forex Live. And just as a quick overview, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to talk a little bit about that basic principle behind what we do and our foundational belief. I'll talk about a little bit, after we go through that, we'll talk a little bit about myself. I'm a firm believer that when you sign up for an education, the learning process is not just a few days or a few weeks, but it's something that takes a few months. It's going to take time. And you need to want to be part of that community, because I feel like it's a process. It's not like learning to trade profitably is not just, I need to learn one or two little tweaks and I'll be profitable. I wish it was how it works, but it's just not. So it's going to take some time. Knowing who I am, my foundational beliefs, how I educate, I think is important, because you're going to know whether it's right for you, and we might not be the right service for you. So knowing that's really important. And then finally, we're going to walk through this, walk through what each of these is, how it's formatted, and why it's formatted that way for the learning process. All right, first things first, when it comes to our foundational beliefs, I guess probably the best thing to do would be to slide this up here. And I wasn't sure if I was going to cover this, but actually in the moment, I think it'll be a good point to cover, and that is the top 10 banks. Now, I don't think you can see it all, but if I roll it up here, you can see BOA, Bank of America, is at 6.4%. The bottom line is that these come out to about 45%. So you're talking a 45% of the daily Forex market volume. This was a number from 2016. I haven't looked for more updated numbers. Honestly, it really doesn't matter, because it doesn't tend to fluctuate that much. But the point being is the top 5 contain 45% of the daily Forex market volume. Now, that's not necessarily speculative buying or selling. What that is just all large market participants have to order or process route orders through these banks. So these banks by default are going to be moving very large sums of money, and their main function, where banks actually make the majority of their money, this is one of the kind of misunderstood things, is that banks make the majority of their money from making the market. They're market makers. They facilitate buying when others are selling. They facilitate selling when others are buying. So they are by nature making their money from commission for the most part when it comes to the majority of this volume. And that gives us a very strong advantage. That gives us our foundational belief. And our foundational belief is, if we know where there's likely to be sellers, then smart money is likely going to go there if they want to buy, because they need sellers if they want to buy. Conversely, if smart money has the desire to sell, they're going to go to where all the buyers are sitting. So if we can identify where buyers are likely to be sitting, then we can identify where smart money is likely to sell into those buyers. If we then see them confirm that by indeed selling into those buyers or buying into the sellers, then we have our confirmation and we look to take the trade. That's the basis of this, and that's why it worked 10 years ago when I started doing this. That's why it worked 5 years after that. That's why it works today, and that's why 5-10 years from now, the base idea is going to work the same, because this market will always, and all markets will always, have major market participants. Those major market participants will be required to take the other side. That's a basic market function they serve. But that's the basic principle they have as well when it comes to processing orders, or that is a basic market function of supply and demand. You need buyers if you want to sell, you need sellers if you want to buy. Either that, or you end up tanking the price or shooting the price to the upside if you don't have any sellers and you're just continuing to buy, eat up everything on the ask side of that market. Well, then you're going to be working it to the upside and getting a worse and worse fill price. So it behooves them to search out the other side of the market and do so in a way that gives them that liquidity. And that's the base idea behind what we do here. So anyways, let's go back up to this. But I want to talk a little bit about who I am real quick. My name is, again, Sterling Sir. I started Day Trading Forex Live in 2010, and one of the reasons I started Day Trading Forex Live is that education had a really big part in me actually becoming a successful trader. Where this bank trading strategy came from, it's not even who I credit with making me profitable, because it wasn't about strategy. But there was a guy named Tim that taught for the Forex Diamonds Room. Now, if you guys are probably familiar with Forex Peace Army. Forex Peace Army used to run a room called the Forex Diamonds Room. Now, the Forex Diamonds Room was a news trading service, and it was a monthly news trading service, but the educator also just taught about general trading success. You know, what made him profitable, reward to risk, discipline, patience, tips and tricks for going about that, psychological tips and tricks that you can use to work through those barriers. And as you guys know, or if you don't know, trading is 80% mental. It's 20% strategy, 80% mental. You can have the best strategy in the world, and if you're not if your psychology is not in line with where it should be, then you're going to find a way to lose money. That's just the way it is. And with that being said, education had a huge part in me actually breaking through that barrier, because by this time, 2007, 2008, I had already been a couple years into trading, and at that point, you know, I'm still not profitable a couple of years in, making the same stupid errors too, like, you know, taking accounts from 2,000 to 10,000, 15,000. I remember one specifically, I took an account from 2,000 to 15,000 in a week. This is back when FXCM had 400 to 1 leverage on their micro accounts. And anyways, so you could just get huge leverage on that. And I took an account from 2 to 15,000, and just like always, you know, you start to do well, and you're like, it feels good, but then in the back of your mind, you know how you always have that feeling like, God, I wonder when this one's going to come to an end. And that's exactly what happened that following Sunday. I remember it as clear as day. I remember exactly where I was sitting. I remember what I was wearing. It was the pound yen, and it was tanking, and I was buying. And I was buying in a large way. And I wiped out that $15,000 down to 1.5. So I took it below where I had it the week before, and I did that in like 4 hours. So what that taught me is that I don't care how good your strategy is. I don't care how much money you make. Trading is not about what you make. It's about what you keep. Because anybody can make money, but very few people can actually keep it. And the things I learned about psychology, reward to risk, I don't know if I'd ever learned that on my own. So it had a big impact on my trading personally. Tim had a huge impact. I credit him for being profitable. If I wouldn't have learned what I learned about reward to risk and the potential randomness in the market, and the fact that our goal is profit, not win-loss. You know, win-loss is great and all, but your goal isn't to have a certain win-loss. Your goal is to make money. And when I really learned about how the best traders in the world make money, they do it with reward to risk, not win-loss. Those are things that you just don't get taught. You know, everybody's trying to sell you a $79 strategy, and the strategy is supposed to magically make you profitable. It's not how it works. And knowing how important education was in my trading, that's a big part of why I do what I do. And you'll also see traders in the forum that came here and have been losing money for years, and those traders are now making money. So when you're able to turn people around like that, and you're going to see them in the forum when you join the service, you see it in the chat box, you'll see people talking about that. You'll see people in their trading journals talking about where they're at for the month. And when you see that, that's a big encouragement as well. I think that's another huge aspect to education. And it takes, you know, you can go from that point, or it just illustrates that you can go from wherever you're at now to that point. That was a big part that I took away from my education as well, seeing other traders do well with what I was trying to do. And I think that's a big part for anybody, part of any service as well, is actually seeing traders who were in their position who are now doing well with whatever they're trying to learn. The final part of this video, again, we've touched a little bit on the foundational belief, who I am, and why I started day trading Forex Live. I also want to touch on the most important aspect, which is the aspect of what's actually included in the service. Now, this service is a one-time payment. It's not a one-time payment, and then, you know, well, you got to really buy this upgrade if you really want to be a dedicated trader. That's not how it works here. It's one price for everything included in the service that we list out here. There is an automated software that is called DTFL Pro. It was one of the members created it, and about 5 years back I allowed him to start selling it in the members area. I think it's $159.59 a month. It basically trades the confirmation entry for you. Some people buy that, probably 5% of people do. It's not a huge percentage, 5-10% of people do, but it's all based on your schedule. If you can trade this manually, I would recommend you trade it manually. But after somebody learns the strategy and say they want to set up to trade during the London because they can only trade New York, well, that is an option. But again, that's all based on your schedule. As far as learning the strategy and everything included here, though, it's one price. There are no additional fees with the service. There are no additional upcharges with the service. I feel like that's important. I mentioned that first because when I was learning to trade, I don't think people value free information, number one. And number two, I couldn't handle as many people as I would have if I had free information. You would have pretty crappy education. There's just no way I'd be able to handle the load of people. But the third point is I didn't like every service that was a monthly fee because it felt like I was in such a rush to learn the strategy, and you just can't learn in that environment. So I wanted to offer a one-time payment for a lifetime access, and that's the main reason why I've set it up in this format. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the first aspect, which is the course, the Forex bank trading course. And what's nice about this is the course right now it's in video format, obviously, and it is a total of 13 videos, about 8 hours in length. One of the points with the course, though, is that I have decided to go through every major aspect. So let's take one of the aspects like the confirmation entry, the actual entry technique we use. So in the course, what I've decided to do is instead of having an hour-long video on the confirming entry, which is there right now, what I've done is I've taken every little aspect of the strategy. So one video is what is a stop run candle. Second video, what is a confirming candle. Third video covers where do you take the entry on the pullback. So it goes back into smaller aspects. One is what is a dynamic stop. So again, it takes very small specific videos under a major section, and it allows people to quickly go through it. So if you're going through and you're like, man, Sterling said, if you get a clean break, you can use the backside of a level. And you're like, I don't know what a clean break is, and I don't know what the backside of a level is. Well, you can go into that section, and there'll be a specific video on that point, so you can, boom, find it immediately, rather than going through potentially an hour-long video. It's an awesome update to the course. It'll be finished by the end of June. I'm keeping the price the same prior to that. It'll likely be at a higher price after that. I haven't determined that as of yet, but at this point, anybody that's beforehand, you'll get a free update to the course, obviously. And I'm hoping by the end of June, I'll have that up. But those signing up before June, which is what I'd encourage, if you're looking to sign up and get the second version of the course as well, or that add-on, you need to go through the first part of it anyways. So regardless of when you do sign up, make sure you're going through that first part anyways, which will be in the welcome instructions as well. So that's the basis of the course. I break down every aspect of the strategy, and the course add-on is going to be an awesome add-on for just learning it quicker and making faster reviews of the service as well. All right, so the next one is the daily market preview video. In my opinion, this is probably the most important part of the service. And earlier on, I had mentioned about in education. If you think about any type of complicated education, such as learning to fly a plane or a surgeon, they go through school. But the only thing that actually qualifies you to take flying, for example, I'm a private pilot, and the only thing that actually qualifies you to actually solo that plane by yourself, which obviously solo means, is 20 plus hours of dual instruction. No amount of book information is going to allow you to fly a plane. It's just not how it works. And you wouldn't want to fly the plane unless you knew you could actually do it, right? I mean, it's just common sense. And I believe trading is the same way. I believe that a course is great, but you really need a continuing education for two reasons. One, because learning it is damn near impossible with just a course. Just like that other complicated profession, you're not going to let a surgeon operate on you unless he's had a residency program. You're not going to let him operate on you just because he's read a book for 8 years. So that's number one. Same thing with obviously being a pilot. It just makes that learning process not easier, but it makes it possible. I think it's damn near impossible to take the rules from a course and try to apply it to the market on your own without knowing certain interpretations, because it doesn't always perfectly look like it's illustrated in the course. I mean, I know that's maybe not a popular thing to hear, but that's just a fact. The market is going to slightly look different each time, and knowing how to trade that is critical, and learning that is done through that process. Somebody actually showing you how to take the rules from the course and apply them to live market. The other aspect is really more so you can trust the educator. If an educator is not willing to trade live in front of you in some format, then you have to ask yourself why, guys. This guy's trying to sell you a product that he's saying he believes is going to help you. And if he wants to do that and he wants to convince you of the service and because of its value, how's he going to do that? If he has, especially in trading, what is the simplest way? Well, illustrate that what you're doing works. And I've found that it tends to attract a get-rich-quick scheme or get-rich-quick type mentality when I post this on the front of the site. So I do it for the members. Members have access to these daily market previews every single day, where they see the exact levels that are chosen going into the market. It's done around 5 p.m. So you have, even if you start trading at 2 a.m. Eastern, which is the European session, you're talking a total of 9 hours later. So this is done long in advance, and you have the levels in advance. Because the confirming entry is mechanical, you'll know for certain whether I had a loss or not. Looks like we shut off here. All right, back up and running. So like I said, you'll know whether I have a loss or whether it's a profitable trade or whether there's no setup at all. And you know for certain because the rules of the confirming entry are mechanical. They don't allow room for deviation, whether it is or it isn't a valid entry. And that, again, it builds confidence, because you not only do you see other members who were in your position who maybe 6 months ago or a year are showing consistent profit. Like we have some members that journal all their trades, showing kind of their pattern and growth to profitability. That's an encouragement, but also seeing it done live in front of you is an encouragement as well, because you know that the strategy is working by seeing it done live in front of you, as an example, on 2 pairs every single day. It also, going back to the first point, which is the most important, because I don't want you to have to need me for the next 5 years of your life. I want somebody to learn this and then do well with it on their own. And that's why the first point of actually it's the best way to learn is really the most important aspect. The encouragement's great that you get from seeing it work, but that's secondary. So the third point here is the live training room. Same thing. This is also recorded. In the live room, you get to see me talking about setups. I talk through it. I show you on the chart. I answer whatever questions you guys have. You can post pictures if you like, and I can walk through certain things. So it allows you to interact in a live format. If you can't be there, you can send me a question in advance. Hey, Sterling, cover this in the live room for me, please. And I can cover it. And then you can go watch it in the recording. So much like the daily market preview that can be viewed at any time based on where you live, same thing here with the live training room. All right, point 4 here is the member forum and live chat. Now, starting with the member forum is just like it sounds. It's a forum, so you're able to post in whatever section you like. Some members, as I mentioned earlier, create journals of their trades. Others post in different sections of the forum. That allows you to do whatever you like from that aspect. But you also have more of a instant type chat. This is just like it sounds again. It's a chat in that you can talk with members. Hey, guys, what do you guys and gals, what do you think of this potential setup? Or is anybody else looking at this level? I was thinking about this and I'm looking for a second push down. The point is, it allows you to interact with other members, and it allows you to do so in a very quick basis, or on a very quick basis. And if I'm looking in the forum at that point, obviously I'll provide a reply, but mainly it is made for a member-to-member interaction, as you can talk with other traders who are learning the same strategy as you. When it comes to just being disciplined, being patient, one of those things is boredom. Boredom trades, they have a name because they're commonly done, or those type of trades are commonly placed. So having an outlet, having a way to maybe interact with other traders, see what other trades they're looking at, and get a different viewpoint, it's one of those things that you can do while you're trading so that you're not sitting there going, man, I need to place a trade. I'm seeing the market move. I need to get into the market. And it's going to be a good help, or a big help, when you're around other like-minded traders as well. And as I mentioned earlier, a little bit of a encouragement when you see somebody who, you know, only a year ago or so was not doing well, or they're in a similar situation, and now they're seeing a couple months of profit, or wherever they might be in the process of learning to trade. And again, can be a pretty big encouragement there from that aspect as well, in addition to just providing a community. Finally is the lifetime support. This is pretty obvious, you know, lifetime support from every aspect. If you have a question and you don't get it answered in the forum, you can get it answered in the live training room. You can leave a comment below the daily market previews. I'll answer it in a preview, or you can email me. So there's many options to getting that support. The big thing that I always say is you just have to use it, guys. That's the biggest thing, because I feel sometimes like people are afraid to ask questions, and I'm always a big fan and encourage asking questions. What do you think of this setup? What do you think of that setup? Even whether you're doing it in the forum, you're doing it in an email to me, whatever it might be. But getting that feedback, getting that constant reminder of the strategy, it's a big help. And if you have questions along that process, you can't get them answered in the forum, you're, again, always welcome to shoot me an email, and I'll answer it in any form that I can. Some of the more complicated questions I do have to put into the daily market preview, or I'll have to put it into a live room recording. But either way, you'll get it answered in a relatively short period of time. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it gave you a little bit more insight into, you know, who I am, the idea behind the Forex bank trading strategy, and the breakdown of what's included in the course. Again, if you have any questions, you can email me at support@daytradingforexlive.com, or you can hit the contact button above us in the menu. You'll see that as an option. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the forum. Till next time, happy trading.